Welcome back to a brand new episode of Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, so we have the final repository. So I think this will be the final episode, I think. Because we have this, then there's 3 more main quests after that. And then there's 2 more Sebastian quests. So I think we're pretty much getting to the point of wrapping this up. Challenges here. We got just 1 more quest. 1 more main quest, 1 more side relationship quest. We got 2 more of these. And these are quest things for the gear. We are talents, yeah. So talents here, we're almost to 40. That'll give us 1 more talent point. Where we're going to spend it, I have no idea. I don't think it really matters too much at this point, but we should hit 40 in this episode. 40 is the highest level. So we'll get 1 more talent point, and so you can see here you can't spend all of them. So you do have to pick and choose what you want. Let's go back here to class. Let's track that. Let's go to the map. I think it's like the map chamber. Yeah, it's gonna be down in like the map chamber. I kind of wonder how hard this is going to be because there's been other ones. No, I want to go to the map, actually. I want to go secret rooms. Map. Yeah, so I just wonder how hard this will actually be because like there's been other ones where I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a pain. And then it's not. I feel like this game has definitely been more on the easy side of things. Okay, so let's work our way up here. We are fully stocked on everything here, so whether or not I use it, I don't know. It kind of depends.
Revelio.
Yeah, how do I... There we go. I was like, how I forgot how to change the thing. Yeah, so we've still not gotten the Avada Kedavra. Avada Kedavra. Lumos. Okay, so we're gonna go. No, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Actually, well. No, I want to do that, and then that way. That was way harder than it actually needed to be. Then we'll throw that on there, because I don't think I have that for any of the other ones. Yes, I think we're good to go. Because Professor
I should
Fig is
hope
with
that the enchantments protecting the castle would protect against an incursion from below.
I fear they may not. Although, if they don't now, I can assure you they will in the future.
Were you able to reach Professor Weasley?
I was. Hopefully she and the others will arrive soon. They know where to find the door through which we entered.
Oh, okay, still can't do it. This music is really loud.
Damn, the goblins.
I wonder if Flamrock is here.
Let's go.
When in doubt, stealth is your friend. It doesn't appear it's going to do much, especially since he won't do
If
it.
the royalists are here, he cannot be far behind.
You and I have faced worse, Professor.
This music is just loud.
We must be getting closer. Pembroke will be pleased with our
Where are they?
progress.
They're ahead of us down on the other side of the rock. There, yeah, there we go. Visibility potion is ready.
Any who oppose Pembroke will be eliminated.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to go about this.
Controlling this area.
More
Yep.
of them.
That doesn't surprise me.
Somebody there? Hello?
A figment of your imagination. Absolutely no one. I don't see a way to attack this really stealthily at all. I can get one more here, though.
What was that?
I don't want to use too much of the ancient magic. It doesn't look like I've really used any of it, though, so... I want to save up that ancient magic for something actually harder. What I could do is use an invisibility potion and just go in there, but I think we're just...
Since before you were born. Is that the best you can
Waiting to press on. Ranrock
Yep.
must be here somewhere.
This drill stands between us and him. We need to move it.
I shall handle it.
Okay, apparently I didn't have all my wig
Let's go.
though. Yeah, goblins are pretty easy. I mean, I say that like Ranrock will be probably really hard, but like most of the goblins typically are easy. Uh-oh. Okay, now we got little goblins. Yep, okay. Pick on someone your own size.
This one's almost down.
Get the big guy first. Come on. Almost. Ah.
Take what's not yours.
The trolls ought to make quick work of us. You can't stop us. Let's get this over with.
Okay, let's get this other big guy.
You're no match for us.
A dead end. Now what?
Okay. All Wiggenweld.
Professor, that wall, that's the way forward.
Very perceptive, my young friend. It worked. Let's go. Ranrock must be getting closer to finding the repository.
I fear you're right, Professor. There's nothing we can do but keep searching.
Lumos!
Revelio.
Yep, we got more down there.
Listen, more goblins up ahead.
Die. Go pick on someone your own size. Hey, that was the wrong one. Okay, you're all dead now.
These tunnels haven't brought us much luck so far.
We're getting closer, Professor. That way.
I'm not ready to go that way yet.
Revelio.
Okay. I think that's everything. Anything up there? Yes, but I don't think it's worth getting. I also don't see an obvious way to get up there, so. Hey, we get help.
The goblins have somehow evaded the castle's defensive charms.
Steer them this way. We shall make quick work of them.
They got this. Time to move. We're in the thick of it now.
We'll show these beasts who's in charge. Your timing couldn't be better, Professor Hackett.
Thank you, Professor.
Such arrogance. Wondering how nice your cat was. I will make you.
Okay, okay, up, yep, up there.
Look out! Another troll!
Oh, fun.
Last two! Stop him! Confringo!
How nice.
Okay, yeah, didn't see that. That felt good.
We couldn't be happier to see you.
Not quite. Let's get this.
What do I want? What do I want? This one. Yeah. Oh, that wasn't very nice. Okay. That was really efficient. Yeah, I would move.
That's our way forward.
Bye-bye. They're gonna come alive, ain't they? They usually do. Yup. Don't they know we're trying to help?
Quickly!
Look, why would you put it away? Like I said, they should know we're trying to help.
We made it.
I'm relieved we got here before Ranrock.
Did we, though?
I believe this is it. The repository has been under the castle for hundreds of years.
I'm still not convinced we got here before him.
Think of all the pain that created it. This is what Miriam, George, your friend Lodgok, and countless others died for. Miriam believed this forgotten magic could be used for such good. But she did not know the risks. She did not see what the Keepers have shown you. What Isadora showed you. You are now the Keeper of whatever power it holds. What do you intend to do with it?
Keep it here.
I plan to leave the repository as it is.
I'm pleased to hear that. I've been thinking.
What is it, Professor?
I spent all year trying to keep our journey a secret from everyone, including Professor Weasley. But now I wonder if I should have shared it with her, and the others, sooner. Trusted them more. The Keepers wanted this secret to be locked away forever. How long will you keep it?
The Keepers were right. The risk of using this magic is too dangerous. It is my responsibility alone to keep it safe.
I understand, but you are not entirely alone. I will do all I can to help you.
The arrogance of wizard kind. Goblins built this repository. It belongs to us.
Goblins feel like everything belongs to
was
them,
never
it seems
yours.
like.
I've been wanting to play with this.
Miriam's wand.
If she'd simply handed over the container, all of this could have been avoided. Foolish, self-important witch. Seems you were two of a kind. She didn't know when to give up either.
Okay, that's weird. Where is he? Where is he?
It's feeding off the power from the repository.
How do I?
Confringo! Bombarda!
I can't. I can't do anything.
Those traces of magic are
Oh, okay, I see now. I see.
the trace.
Where is he? Where is he? We go this way? Okay. Chill. I don't. I don't see anything where I'm supposed to.
Protego! Stupefy!
I don't see anything I'm supposed to do again.
Confringo! Bombarda! Confringo!
What am I? Supposed to do?
Can't stop me!
I guess I just need to move forward more?
The benefit. Two sources of power. Expelliarmus. Descendo.
Ah! Man!
Don't like that very much, do you?
This definitely is harder than the rest of the game.
Up this charade.
Okay, we're gonna go this way. We're going down.
You can't run forever, Ranrock.
Give up now, and I might ensure that your death is swift.
There's no way to hide now, Ranrock.
Where? Okay, I didn't see that coming.
Glacius.
Okay, you're too far, you're too far, you're too far.
Leviosa.
You're still too far, you're still too far. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay. Okay, I think you're gonna be the one to die, but
You think you can stop me?
okay, you're too far, you're too far.
Incendio.
Nope, that didn't work.
Depulso.
Too far.
Accio. Incendio.
Yep. Okay, that would. Yep. When in doubt, just keep moving. Okay, I see. I got a yellow one over here.
Grayson. Arresto momentum.
Okay, he's almost down to nothing. Is that it? Not it. That was close. Too far, too far, too far. Come on, change.
Levioso. Expelliarmus.
Yes!
Professor. Professor.
Miriam. Miriam would have loved you, my young friend. The wizarding world could not be in more capable hands.
Professor Eleazar Fig. I dare say he was a beloved professor to many of you, certainly a long-standing colleague to his peers. A famed adventurer and seeker of knowledge, he built a reputation charging into the unknown, brazenly disregarding both discretion and safety, providing perhaps a rather unfortunate lesson for us all. His devotion to adventure was rivaled only by his dedication to Hogwarts. And of course, to his wife, Miriam, whom we lost much too soon as well. Yeah.
Professor Fig represented the best of all of us. He could be deviously clever, possessed a brilliantly inquisitive mind, and was the most loyal of friends. But perhaps it was his remarkable courage, for which we will all be forever indebted to him. If not for Professor Fig, well, I can say with confidence that if not for him, many of us, let alone Hogwarts, would not be here today. Those that knew him best will agree that we must now honor him as only Hogwarts can, by wisely, resourcefully, justly, and bravely facing all that lies ahead.
To Professor Fig!
Never imagined we'd attend a funeral for one of our professors. Glad Weasley spoke for Fig. She honored him. He'll be well remembered. I only wish we could have done the same for Solomon Sallow. I need to go and see Anne soon.
Ominous, there's something I need to tell you. It's to do with Victor Rookwood.
I heard a rumor that he confronted you outside of Ollivander's. Sounds as if you faced quite a fight.
The rumor's true, and I did. But it's not that. Just before Rookwood attacked, he uttered something familiar. The same words Anne heard before she was cursed. Children should be seen and not heard.
Wait, what are you saying?
It wasn't one of Ranrock's loyalists who cursed Anne. It was Victor Rookwood. It was Rookwood all along.
This can't be. The night Anne was cursed, all she saw were goblins.
You see, since Feldcroft was of interest to Ranrock, it became of interest to Rookwood as well. That's why Rookwood was there the night Anne was cursed. He was working with Ranrock. When he saw Anne, well, he didn't want anyone to know.
So he cursed her. Oh, so cruel. Rookwood got what he deserved. Thank you for telling me. Anne and Sebastian deserve to know, and it should come from me. As we discussed, I spoke with Black. Sebastian's with the headmaster now, but perhaps there's a way to get word to him. When I find out, I'll send an owl.
Congratulations, you have completed the story of Hogwarts Legacy and reached the end of your school year. With your OWL exams fast approaching, now is a good time to review your field guide progress, explore the world, finish any remaining relationship storylines and side quests, and complete your field guide as you see fit. Okay, wow. Wow.
I have news about Sebastian. Meet me in the Undercroft as soon as you can.
That was extremely cinematic and I really liked it, but wow, I did not see them killing one of the professors, especially like Fig. Wow. I just did not see that coming. That came way out of left field for me. But no, I really did like I did really like though that last mission. It was it was very cinematic, which was really nice. It was really challenging compared to the rest of the game. I don't think it was like too challenging though either. So we got that completed. But yeah, there was that one part where I was just like, he was just like throwing like the fire at me. I was like, I just didn't realize I was supposed to just keep moving forward there. I thought I was supposed to actually like attack him. But like it all made sense going along with like the rest of the game. I was never like stumped and like, oh, how do you do, how are you supposed to do this? It was a really intuitive battle. It was challenging. It was definitely the hardest part of the game, and like it should be. I think we're gonna go do this one because that'll give us this other challenge here. That'll get us to 100% on everything. We'll look here at the map. I'm definitely going to try and finish this up, assuming that everything will pop up for me. And then that's the Weasley one. So we're going to go. Where do we want to go? We want to go down the stairs and then around the corner.
Thank you for coming.
Ominous, I received your owl. What's happened with Sebastian?
He's been expelled and will soon face trial at the Ministry. Although Anne wanted to turn him in, I think now she's torn. I confess I know how she feels. As much as we all wanted Sebastian to face the consequences of his actions. It will never be the same without him. Just standing here in the Undercroft without Sebastian feels wrong.
Yeah, I feel what you mean, but he still deserved to be punished.
Sebastian brought all of this on himself. We tried and tried to stop him.
We did. I just wish things had turned out differently.
Were you able to tell Sebastian about Rookwood cursing Anne?
I was. Black let me talk to Sebastian before he left. At first he wouldn't believe it. Then he realized it all made sense. Unfortunately, his anger only grew towards goblins and dark wizards. Anne was shocked too, but in some sense relieved to know the truth about who was responsible. I think it brought her some peace.
I'm glad to hear it. She deserves peace.
She does. Sebastian was my best friend. I can't imagine Hogwarts or anywhere without him. I know you two had grown close, that you were helping each other with more than just finding a cure for Anne. He never gave specifics, but I know it was important. He means a lot to us both. I hope we get the chance to tell him that one day. I know we had a bit of a rocky start, but you've proven yourself as a friend. I'm glad you came to Hogwarts.
All right, so that gives us other challenge. So I had 2 Sebastian quests, but that was the last one on the list. The Shadow of Fate was also on my list, so I don't know if I completed that at some point and missed it. I don't know if that was what we discussed with Ominous there coming out of the the cutscene there in the Great Hall. We got those two. Now we have all the collections, all of the challenges. I want to see one thing here. Hang on. We did get to 40. We're up to 40 now on that. $4,000 health. 432 for offense, 439 for defense. Again, I don't really think any of this matters at this point. Wax. Weasley's Watchful Eye. We will go and do that. Okay, so yeah, so the Sebastian quest and the Shadow of Fate we already did. That was the one where you decide whether or not you turn him in or not. We're gonna go down these stairs. Not too far away here. I think there's one more main quest after this.
My heart to see your interest in herbology, dare I say, blossom.
Professor Weasley, you wanted to see me?
I did. We haven't had a chance to speak since I know you were quite close with Professor Fig.
Hogwarts won't be the same without him.
No, it won't. But I can assure you that he would want us to press on, and that he would rest easy knowing that the future of the wizarding world is in hands like yours.
Thank you, Professor.
You've had quite a year, both inside and outside of Hogwarts. I've heard all sorts of rumors. You've ridden a Graphorn, befriended a goblin, rescued hippogriffs, even somehow ingratiated yourself with the Headless Hunt.
How did you...
It's harder to keep secrets around here than one might suspect. I'm just glad you found such a good friend in Miss Sweeting. It's nice to see her engaging more with her classmates. There have evidently been Snidget sightings in the area lately. If the Centaurs are to be believed, 2 Hogwarts students are behind it.
I'm certain I don't know what...
No need to discuss it further. What I would like to discuss is your wizard's field guide. May I see it?
Of course.
It is nice and complete.
What do you think, Professor?
I think you've been busy this year. It seems you've nothing left to do to complete your field guide. Most impressive. With your OWLs soon upon us, I am thrilled to see you so prepared. I will confess, I had a sense about you from that first moment you came bursting in, late, to the sorting ceremony. I am pleased to see that my instincts were correct. To think you've only been with us a year and you'll already be taking your OWLs, well, it's nothing short of astonishing.
Thank you, Professor, for everything.
You are most welcome. I look forward to seeing what you do during the rest of your time with us.
And that's complete. So now we have this one last quest to go. Kind of sad. See, where this is probably going to be in Great Hall. We gotta go up the stairs. So yeah, this is... I'm excited to like finish the game, but at the same time, I have really enjoyed this game. I've put more time into this game than I have any other single story game. Or just a single playthrough. This has been an experience.
Students always run when Peevesy wants to have some fun.
Because you're mean, Peeves. That's weird. Why would it have us go to the Great Hall and then go here?
This year, we have seen our students exemplify the bravery of Godric Gryffindor. And now to finish, the loyalty of Helga Hufflepuff. The wisdom of Rowena Ravenclaw. And the ambition of Salazar Slytherin. And so, the winner of this year's House Cup.
Excuse me, Headmaster, if I may. One particular student's heroism during the attack on Hogwarts, not to mention the level to which they have excelled in their coursework, as a new student, no less. Well, it would seem that it certainly merits, I'd say, 100 points to their house. Wouldn't you agree?
Ah, yes. Thank you, Professor Weasley. I suppose we have our winner.
Oh man, though, this game. This was an experience. I put in over 130 hours into this game. Not all of that was recorded. Some of that was on my own, just exploring and collecting things. But like I said, this is the most I've put into any story game like this for a single playthrough. All right, so now time for my thoughts on the game. game setup was probably the worst experience I've ever had. This was definitely made worse by the fact that I was connecting the game to a website to import information, but it was still pretty bad. First, the Wizarding World website was just horrible. It kept throwing up errors at me. I had to refresh the webpage or close out the tab completely and start over. So many times I lost count. Then after doing the quizzes on the website, I went into the game and it gave you the option to import that information into the game. Cool. So then I had to create a WB Games account. Okay, fine. Then I had to link the Wizarding World account that I just created, and it told me my password was wrong. And I had to go in and change the password. And I know the password was right because 1, I just created it, and 2, it got auto-filled from my password manager, which auto-added the password that I typed in when creating it. So I know there couldn't have been any typos. I have games that I use third-party software for to collect telemetry on, and sometimes this requires the modification of game files. All those games were far easier to set up than this game using first-party websites. I spent over an hour trying to do the House, Patronus, and Wand quizzes, and then another half hour just adjusting settings and trying to link the game to the websites. Graphics. The game looked good, especially since I was running on medium settings initially. This is really the first time that I had ran anything lower than high. I feel like I would have expected a bit of a higher frame rate, but this is also complicated by the fact that the only 2 options to run the game are windowed and borderless window, and that the only way to scale the game down from 1440p was to change my monitor resolution in the Windows settings and not in-game. I probably would have been more than happy to run this game at 1080p and turn up some more of the settings and then still have a higher frame rate, but the limiting graphic options meant I couldn't do that easily. This is really frustrating, and one of the things that I really like about PC gaming is the ability to adjust those settings, so the lack of them is inexcusable to me. Also, the benchmark mode is the weirdest benchmark mode I've ever seen in that it doesn't actually run a benchmark to gauge your computer's performance. It just looks at your hardware and then's like, here's the recommended settings. But it also fails to tell you what those settings are. It just asks you if you want to apply them. Applying settings doesn't make sense to me when I don't know what they are. When I started the game, I had water texture glitches, and this was super frustrating because it was pretty game-breaking at times, and as far as I know, this was never addressed. And in less than 5 minutes of looking into it, it seems to only affect a very narrow group of people using a certain series of older AMD GPUs. The problem is, with that big of an issue, and being able to very easily narrow it down to specific hardware that causes the issue, it should have been patched either by the developers or AMD in a driver update. These water glitches were no longer present after upgrading my graphics card. There was also a weird workaround to increase the graphics preset from medium to high, but then it just killed the frame rate. The glitches, like I said, there was the water glitches that I don't think ever really got fixed. And this only affects what's probably a very small number of users, but every user experience is important and all glitches should be fixed, especially when the affected hardware is within the minimum and recommended hardware. There were also several times the player clipped through ledges while jumping. This is way less of an issue for me. It is a very minor problem and not really game breaking like the water glitches. There were also times I found collectibles that appeared to be underground. Now, I'm not too sure if this was a glitch though, or more just something I missed. There were many caves and such that would put items unknowingly beneath other places. This was only a handful of times and certainly not a widespread issue. The game, however, did crash a couple of times on me when fast traveling, specifically to the Room of Requirement. These weren't really a major issue though because the game autosaves, so I never lost any progress or anything. Character customization. I like the full character customization you can do at the start of the game. It allows you to create any story you want with your character. Gear could have been a bit better explained, but it wasn't too bad once you understand how it works. It's great. I love the gear system in this game. The only thing that really matters is the rating and the traits they have. The ability to change the way the gear looks to any other item you've already discovered is great. I love that you can also hide gear items while still reaping the benefits from wearing them. I would have liked to see benefits though from selling upgraded gear. The cost to sell gear was the same whether it was upgraded or not. It only mattered how rare the gear was. I would have liked to have gear sorted better when buying it too. They should have grouped all the same types of items together, making it easier to see which one was the best one. I had purchased multiple items of the same type of gear before because of this. Controller support, a PC specific thing here, but the controller support for this game was top notch. I tried the game with 3 controllers. Those were an Xbox controller, a PlayStation DualShock 4, and a PlayStation DualSense controller. All 3 were recognized and appropriate icons were showed. The game even goes as far as to have different icons for the DualShock 4, colored PlayStation icons, and the DualSense plain white icons. Small touch and not necessary, but nice attention to detail. The game does, however, lack any DualSense specific features though, like adaptive triggers or gyro controls, which is weird because I do think it has gyro controls for flying on PlayStation 5. But any controller is a solid experience. Keyboard and mouse is also fully supported. The game is also verified on Steam Deck and works perfectly fine for me. Staying on the topic of controls, the flying controls were a bit weird and took some getting used to, as you use the left stick for turning and the right stick for height control, and then the right trigger for speed. Additionally, you can still use the right stick to look left and right, but not down. The game also failed to explain how to access your broom after you purchased it. You can also collect things on the broom, which is super convenient with how much collecting there is. Voice acting. For the most part, I really liked the voice acting, but there were parts that were really annoying too, where they just had the character repeat the same lines over and over and over again. It's like beating a dead horse. Deke would always comment on how we should be proud of all the potions we brewed when entering the room of requirement. Perry Pippin would always comment on us delivering potions for him upon entering his shop, no matter how long it had been since we delivered them. Albie Weeks would comment on his brooms being of the highest quality every time you viewed one. Every time you viewed a single broom, he would say the same thing. They really could have recorded 1 or 2 more additional lines for that. They just had him robotically say the same line for like 5 or 6 brooms. Sometimes it's just better to have them say nothing if it's just going to be the same thing you've already heard 100 times. It also was annoying that they use the same voice actors for several roles. Now, I don't really care how many roles the actor does in a game, but the problem is when I can very easily tell that it's the same actor. That is the problem for me, because I'm connecting voices to characters, and hearing very similar voices for multiple characters I found annoying and immersion breaking. When traveling with a companion and there's dialogue, if you get to the destination before the lines are finished, the game stops you to finish the lines, unlike some games where it will just cut off the dialogue. So this is really nice. Collecting. A lot of things that needed to be collected showed up on the map. One exception was the moons. The thing that really annoyed me was that the mission for level 3 of the moon said we needed 9. So we go out and get 9, go back to talk to him, and then it changed to 13. Why didn't they just say we needed 13 in the first place? Why say 9 just to move the goalpost to 13? Some guide pages weren't on the map, but Revelio did make it easy to find things, but it was a bit annoying to have to cast it so many times, especially with guide pages, because you had to be right in front of the page for it to pop up. Beast locations would show up on the map, which was really nice. It made them super easy to find. The map is also sectioned out into regions, which better breaks down what you need and where to find it. It will even narrow it down further for the small villages, although the game never tells you this. Sometimes it just feels like the amount of stuff to collect was just too much though, like Merlin trials. Did we really need 95 Merlin trials? When there's only a couple of variations on how to do them, I don't really think we needed that many. Upgrading. I really like the talent point system. I would have liked the ability to unlock everything, but I think this works into trying to get you to replay the game. With the 2024 summer update, you can reset talent points for a cost. This is definitely a nice feature as it does allow you to experiment with different things it has to offer, and if you do buy one perk and you don't use it, you can now reset it to use it on something else. Map. I hated the map screen for Hogwarts Legacy. It was so hard to use to find things inside the castle, but with all the floors and the massive layout, I don't really know of a better solution for this. Outside the castle, the map was pretty good. It was sectioned off between Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and the Highlands. You could just use the left and right on the D-pad to select other regions instead of having to move the cursor all the way up and select the one you want. But this is, again, something the game fails to tell you. On multiple occasions, I flew to the wrong place, and I would have liked to have seen them disable other icons on the minimap when tracking a quest and flying. As you fly around in Castrovelio, icons do pop up on the minimap for things for you to discover. They will typically disappear again unless you are right by that object, but this does help a lot in discovering different things. Environment. The world has almost everything you could want from the Wizarding World. The Highlands are vast and way more important than I would have imagined. I also didn't ever envision Hogsmeade being that big, but it also doesn't really feel out of place either. The castle itself is massive enough that I feel the game could have limited you to just the Hogwarts grounds and you wouldn't get bored exploring. There are several parts of the castle that reference events or locations from the books while also introducing new areas never before mentioned. Common room. The common room and dormitories feel 100% pointless. There's nothing to do in it. You can't interact with anyone there after the beginning of the game. You don't have to sleep, so the only real reason to be there is when the game loads you in there after completing certain quests. This really is an issue because in the book, so much goes on in the common room and it had such a major role, and now it has no purpose. I'm not entirely sure what would have been a great solution to this, but surely there's something. Microtransactions. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about microtransactions, at least way more than I thought I ever would for a game that doesn't have them. This game has no microtransactions, which is great, especially since they totally could have. And so hopefully they keep microtransactions out of the game for a potential sequel, but that doesn't seem likely. Once you get into the game, it's fairly easy to get money to buy necessary things, but then if you just use the tools in the Room of Requirement, you can save quite a bit of money. The room gives you herbology plants and beast materials. You can get some potion ingredients from the room too. Some you can find in the environment or from fighting enemies. New gear is littered throughout the world and is completely unnecessary to buy. Really, all you need to do is buy spellcrafts, a broom, seeds, and a few potion ingredients. Everything else can be found or gotten from the Room of Requirement or from doing other tasks and quests. The game does, however, have somewhat weird timers on certain things, which kind of makes it feel like a mobile game, but if they just let you collect everything in the room at once instantly, I do feel like it would feel a bit too easy. And once you get into the game and start building up a supply, I don't really think that this is much of an issue. I think the game missed a great opportunity to have more of the NPCs interactive. You can't do much with them. I would have liked more relationship building, and that could have led to doing quests with them. For the few quests where you do have someone with you, they do absolutely nothing. This really grinds my gears because a big part of the original Harry Potter series was Harry, Ron, and Hermione working together through things. It wasn't just about Harry. A Far Cry type Guns for Hire system feels like it would be perfect for this game, with Natty, Poppy, and Sebastian being available to take on quests with you and them having their own strengths and weaknesses. I feel like most of the fellow students just exist to take up space in the castle until you need to interact with them for a quest. NPCs can have some interesting dialogue though, but outside of the quests, you just can't interact with them or do anything. A perfect example would be to have Zenobia Noke available to play gobstones with after completing her quest. Honor system. The game lacks any kind of honor or morality system, but totally feels like it should really have one. The dialogue options and missions are such that it seems like there was meant to be one, but it's just missing. This would also help with further playthroughs by adding different elements that would kind of like penalizing you for being evil and using unforgivable curses and making people pay or keep things that they'd asked you to get for them. There's just no consequences for your actions, and there really should be. Gladwin Moon's first Alorhamora quest in the game also implies that you could get in trouble for being out of bed at night, or for being in certain parts of the castle. Combined with the library quest with Sebastian, you would think you would, but you don't. But that would add a whole other element to how you go about things. But I just find it weird that it mentions it and makes you sneak around, but then there's no consequences after that. Loading screens. There were loads of loading screens, especially for this being an open world game. I don't think I've ever played an open world game and experienced this many loading screens in it. They weren't particularly long, but with the amount of them, it really does add up. However, if you play on the Switch, this is way worse, as it loads every time you go into and out of a shop in Hogsmeade, which would definitely suck. There was even occasional mini loading screens when you're going through some doors, which was a bit weird. It didn't seem to do it every time, but it's just a bit annoying since other games have pretty much gotten rid of loading screens in these scenarios. Combat. I like the combat system. They made it work really well. Enemy shields are color-coded specific types of spells to break them, and I found this easily to remember by just setting up your spell sets pretty much the same. I found some of the icons for the spells, though, not super useful. It's mixed, though. Some are, like, very obvious, and some are not at all. Particularly, this is the case with the red spells. Those red spells are not really obvious, at least to me. Certain enemies have different recommended levels, and that is represented in how hard they are to defeat. I also like the health bar that they give you at the top of the screen, so you can see how much progress you are making. I do find that enemies can easily become repetitive, especially if you try to 100% the game like I did. Typically, I found little need for Wiggenweld to regenerate health, but I do think this is more of a difficulty thing. That being said, you have up to 25 Wiggenweld potions at a time, and even on harder difficulties, I find it difficult to find many places where I would need or want more. I like the ancient magic and the strategy that went along with managing that. The addition of ancient magic throwables that don't deplete ancient magic is nice. However, I don't ever remember this ever being explained that that's how that works, because it definitely took me way too long to realize they didn't deplete the meter. I spent at least 90% of the game avoiding using them because I thought they did deplete it, and I would be trying to save my ancient magic for harder enemies. Stealth. The game has a great stealth system that at times feels a bit overpowered, especially with the stealth talent points, upgrades, and invisibility potions, but it definitely allows you for really good opportunities to stealthily approach things. Story. I liked the story, but also didn't find it great. It was a story that drove me to want to play the game, but not something that makes me want to go and rave to everybody I know about how good it was. It was just kind of average to good. I was definitely thrown a curveball by them killing Professor Fig at the end. Ranrock and Rookwood were really good villains to me that made me want to just finish them off. I really liked Poppy's questline, and I think hers was my favorite. Sebastian's was pretty good too. Sebastian's questline could be used to set up a sequel with setting him up as a villain, but with his questline having multiple endings, it does complicate that. I really liked the original story idea they went with, though, because it allowed them to go in any direction they wanted with the story, but they also did a great job of bringing familiar characters or familiar families into the game to make it feel Harry Potter. Difficulty. This game offers 4 difficulty levels: story, easy, normal, and hard. Now, I played on normal. I typically play games on normal or medium. I'm not usually looking for a super hard challenge, but don't want it to be too easy either. I felt like this game was fairly easy. I feel like I could absolutely play it on hard, but with hard being the only harder level than what I played on, I wonder if that's going to present a hard enough challenge for some players. The difficulty can be changed at any point too. You are not locked into the difficulty you pick at the start of the game. But one thing I think that also affects the difficulty is how much time and effort you put into upgrading and getting those skill points, going around exploring, getting guide pages. The more time you put into that, the more you're going to upgrade. And so that will also help make things easier too. Replayability. The game offers a ton of replayability to me, especially if you don't try to do everything the first time. There is so much depth to this game that allows you to go back and experience different things. The house-specific quest makes you want to replay the game, so you can experience those. I do think that had they added certain things that feels left out, like the honor system, that would have helped a lot in making replays more worthwhile. Like I mentioned, having the ability to go through and have consequences for your actions would give you a whole different approach to things. So final conclusion. I really like this game. I put in over 130 hours into this game in my first playthrough, completing everything I could do that didn't require a second playthrough. The game certainly encourages multiple playthroughs, and I feel like I want to replay this game again despite sinking 130 hours into it. I want to try it on hard and see how hard it actually is. I want to experience the 3 other house common rooms and their house specific quests. For comparison though, I put 70 hours into Far Cry 5 and was definitely ready for that game to be over. But Hogwarts Legacy has left me wanting more of the game, not in a bad way though, like it wasn't complete in terms of the story, but I just found everything so enjoyable about it. I don't think this game does any one thing great. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking or revolutionary, but it does a lot of things really well. And that makes this a really good game to me. This game is a must play if you enjoy open world games, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. The one complaint is that I feel like the game could benefit from better tutorials. I feel like there was so many things that after I discovered, I wish I had known sooner and had been explained better. But I am also certainly not the fastest when it comes to picking up new things in games, so that could also just be a me problem. Most of the things weren't super important. The worst one for me was the Ancient Magic Throwables. That would have been super helpful to know way sooner than I did. There were a few things that felt like the game was supposed to have but doesn't, like the honor system, that I felt annoying. Not so much that it just simply is not there, but that its inclusion would simply make the game so much better. Just imagine a everything bad Slytherin playthrough where you just make all the bad decisions and you just turn bad at the end. But at the end of the day, there are no consequences for your actions, so it doesn't matter. You can go through and still be the bad guy and come out good at the end. So thanks for watching my playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy. Let me know what you think of the game down in the comments. Let me know what game you think I should play next. Until next time, so long everybody.